I have a joke for you.
Oh boy.
Lone Ranger and Tonto have a really, really long ride. They ride into a town, go into the saloon, order a couple of beers. And a couple of minutes later, someone comes in and says, "Hey, does anyone own that big white horse outside?" Lone Ranger says, "Well, I do." Why do you ask? So, well, he's really looking rough. As a matter of fact, it looks like he's really sick. You might want to go check on your horse. So Lone Ranger and Tonto went outside, and sure enough, Silver was, looked like he was about to die of dehydration and overheating. So got him some water, and it's not like today where you've got an air-conditioned stall. So he said, well, you know what might help is if you could get Tonto to run around Silver for a few minutes to get some air circulating around him. Well, okay, that makes sense. So Tonto starts running around Silver. A couple minutes later, Lone Ranger's up at the bar nursing his beer. Says, "Hey, anybody own the white horse outside?" Lone Ranger says, "Well, I do. Why? Is he doing okay?" And says, "Yeah, the horse is fine. You just left your engine running."
Oh.
Yes. One of your better ones.
Wow.
Oh.
Good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all have been coming to these lessons for a while. And you've been playing bridge for a while. And you've been entering scores into the computer for a while. But it dawns on me that some of you might not have a good concept of how we determine who wins and who loses. Okay? It's just magic. Well, I thought we'd take a day and explain how you should keep a running score and how the scoring works. Okay. First of all, how many of y'all usually keep a running score? When I say keep a running score, I passed out convention cards. Okay. The front of the convention card is something that we'll be talking about probably next week. How to fill this out, the agreements that you and your partner should have. The back of your convention card is what we're going to be talking about today, because it's how you keep a running score. Okay? I usually sit east-west when I play, because that's what my partners enjoy sitting. So at the top of the convention card, I will write what my pair number is, so I don't have to remember it, and which direction I sat, so just for posterity's sake. Okay, so here we were pair 11, and I sat east. Now, this was a two-boarded table game. So on table 11, we played against pair 11 and played boards 21 and 22. Now, so if you go down to board 21, I wrote first in the thing, just to remind me that that's where I started. And we played against pair 11. I didn't write down their names. That's something you could write down. I didn't write down what the opening lead was. That's something you could write down. If you had a particularly fun auction, you could write down the auction. Okay? Got extra space, because usually you only play 24 boards. Tonight we're only going to play 12. Anyway, where it says contract and declare, I'll write the contract. Contract is always a number, followed by a denomination, followed by a direction. Okay, 4 spades in the west was this particular contract. And the asterisk is how you represent double. Double asterisk is how you represent redouble. Okay. Questions so far? Yes, sir.
The
column that says board and number of teams, of course you marked first in there. What is that generally for, that column?
It's an extra. It's a bonus column.
Okay.
So write down anything you like.
I wondered about that.
Now, some people will write down in the points estimated column how they think they did on the board. Okay, every board that was played here was played 12 times. So the bottom on a board would have been a 0. We beat no one. Top on a board would be 11. So if you want, you can guess to see how you did on the board. And then the points column to the right is actually how many points you got on the board. When I say points, what I'm talking about is match points. How many people you beat. Okay, and we'll get there in a moment. Any questions so far? Yes, ma'am.
So you're number 11?
Yep.
And you're playing 9?
Well, I put in the versus column, I'll put down who we played the board against. So board number 1, we played against.
9. Okay.
You know, that's in the last.
Yeah.
Last.
Board number 1, we played against pair 13. Our contract was 3 diamonds in the south, and I wrote down 150. Okay? I didn't write down +5. I didn't write down +2. I wrote down 150. Do you know why? Because I know that 150 in a 3 diamond contract is making 5. It's really good practice for you. Okay? Now, y'all have kind of graduated from the green book. Okay? I'm going to give you some advice. There are some scores that you should just know. Okay? If you're in 4 spades in the West, vulnerable, and you made 4, the score for that is 620. Okay? You can always look it up. I personally don't know what 5 diamonds doubled and redoubled making 7 is. Okay? But if I pull out the 5 diamond contract, look back, okay, well 2x, 2 over tricks and redoubled, it's either 1200 if I'm not vulnerable or 1800 if I'm vulnerable. So you can look them up. Okay, you can look any score up, but there's some you should just know. 2 spades making 3. 2 spades making 3. This is where everybody in the room should say 140. Okay? It's just a good thing to know. Okay? Do not, at some point, you will play against bridge players with more experience than you. Okay? It's gonna happen. Guess what? Okay? Oh, sorry. We're gonna relax today. I have a story for you.
Okay.
Story for you. My very first tournament. I'm down with John Clokey in Myrtle Beach. Had about 200 master points at the time. And we're playing in a knockout event. And, you know, when I play bridge, it's always nice, and I actually was worried. So, oh, I'm going to my first tournament. How should I act? Well, I should introduce myself. So, hi, I'm Ed Kinlaw. And I go, hi, I'm Jeff Hampson on my left. Hi, I'm Eric Grieco on my right. These names mean nothing to me. If you look in your bridge bulletin, top point earners, they're usually in the top 20 or so in any given year. So, yeah. When I say act like you know what you're doing, introducing myself to some of the best players in the world probably didn't get us off to the best start. It's like, oh, this guy doesn't know who we are. We're gonna smack him around like a cat toy. And they did, by the way. I digress. Any questions about how to keep a running score? Okay, you can write down anything you want, but the important thing is you write down your contract and what you made. If you made a contract or set the opponent, you get something in the plus column. If you went down or the opponents fulfilled a contract, you write it down in the minus column. Does that make some sense? Questions? and flipping the page. At the end of every game here at the Bridge Center, almost always, and at any tournament you go to, you will get a thing with the hands printed. What I will tend to do is take my running score and transcribe it onto the hand record. Okay, this is called a hand record. It's what all the hands that you held, what everybody had. I will transcribe my running score into the hand record. Okay, so somewhere on board number 1, I wrote down 3 diamonds in the south and plus 150. I actually did this on the computer, but I've got my scribble. 3 diamonds in the south plus 150. And I do that on every board we play. Okay, so while the scores are being tabulated, or while people are finishing, I'm doing this. I'm writing down on board number 1, this is what happened. And I may look to see whether I did as well on the hand as other people could have. Okay, for instance, I played East. Okay, so on board number 2, I was in 3-no trump in the East. And I went down 2. And then I look and say, okay, well, best play I could have made 2 on this hand. Did I do anything wrong? Because if I did, I did. And if I didn't, I didn't. And just looking at this board, it looks like I can take 6 diamonds, a spade, and a club. Okay, so if they lead a spade, I can take 8 tricks off the top. Looks like I decided not to do that. Decided to try to make my contract, and in the fullness of time, I failed miserably. I probably ran some diamonds. Yes, ma'am?
I'm very confused on the first score. You said the bid was 3 diamonds by south.
Yes.
They
And we
went
were
down
plus.
Then.
Yes, we set them 3.
Okay, I thought you said they made 5, and I'm going.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, the other way. There's
Okay.
2 ways to be in 150. Sorry, we were east-west, so we set them 3.
Right.
Okay?
That's good.
Yes, that was good. That was actually a 10. Okay. So what I will tend to do at the end of the night is look to see how I did on the boards I played. I played East. So I'll look for East. And did I play any hands? Yep, looks like I played 14 and I got an above average. Sorry, we haven't figured out how we get to above average yet. Let's flip to the last page. This is a recap. Okay? You will be able to get one of these at the end of any game that you play in here at the Bridge Center. It basically shows who won. Okay. If you look at this sheet, you'll see that there is an A flight, a B flight, and a C flight. This game is from June 2011. I think that's the last time Govind and I had a good game. That's why I saved this one. There's an A flight, a B flight, and a C flight. A flight, everybody is eligible to win. Okay, so if you have less master points than anyone in the room, you can win A flight if you're the top pair in the room. Now, in this particular room, this room goes up to people with 100 master points. Some of you have less than 1. If you and your partner have less than 1 master point, you may not be in the top 3 or 4 in the room, but you can still get master points if you are the top pair in your bottom stratification. The way Paul will set this game up in general is A flight is everybody with over 50 points. So if you got 50 or more points, you're only eligible to win A flight. If you have between 20 and 50, you're eligible to win B flight and A flight. And if you have less than 20, you can win C flight and B flight and A flight. Does that make some sense?
No.
Okay, you've got less than 20 points? Okay, if your partner has less than 20 points, if you are the top pair with less than 20 points, then you will win C flight.
See, what's the flight mean?
Flight is just based on how many master points you have. A flight in this room is over 50. B flight is 20 to 50, and C flight is under 20. Okay, so if you're the top C flight pair, you'll get some fractions of a master point. Now in this game, he didn't write down the stratification, but it looks like Govan and I were in B flight, which probably was anybody with between 1,000 and 3,000 points would be my guess.
What is that? He's got 100%, 80%, 80% in the rating. Is that different? Right about that?
Yeah, if you're open, that means that you're getting a full amount of master points. Okay, so if it's an open game, then anybody can play. If it's a stratified game, then you only get 80% of what open would get, because you don't have as many master points as an open player, even though you may. Good question. Now ordinarily he'll write down what the stratification levels were. Here he just put none, none, and none, which is interesting. Yes, sir.
For purposes of stratification, is that the sum total of the points for the two players, or just if anybody is over 20, you're not in?
There are a couple ways to do it. What we'll tend to do is run it based on the highest person. So if Govan and I were playing, then I've got more master points than Govan. So we would be flighted based on my master points. If it was based on average, we'd be between 1,000 and 1,500. So if the stratification for C flight was under 1,500, we'd be able to play in C flight if it was done on average. We'd be in B flight if it was done on the highest number. Good question.
I have another question.
Yes, sir.
Under A, B, and C, there's 14, 9, and 6. What do those numbers mean?
That means that there are 14 pairs eligible to win A flight. Everyone's eligible to win A flight. There are 9 pairs eligible to win B flight. And there are 6 pairs eligible to win C flight. That also will affect the match points, or the master points that are awarded. If I win C flight and there's 6 pairs, then I get, in this game, 80% of open based on a 6-table game. Whereas if I win the 14-table game, I get whatever the match points is for 14 tables. My guess is 1.4, yep. In an open game, it's 0.1 per table up to 15 tables. Now, the way the computer figures out who won, okay, you will see up at the top under score and percentage, the score is the number of match points that pair earned on the boards that they played. Looks like we played 24 boards that day. So 24 boards. If you add up your score on all 24 boards, if you look at Govan and I were pair number 11, we scored 154 match points. What a match point is, it means that on a board, we beat a pair. Let's look at that. Let's look at board number 1 on 3rd page. Okay? If you beat everybody, then you get 1 match point for everybody you beat. Here the board was played 12 times, so the top on a board is an 11. If you beat no one, you get a 0. Okay? So on board number 1, pair 14 got plus 300. Okay? They beat everybody in the room. So they got 11 match points, 11 out of 11, or a top on that board. Okay? Pair number 11, that would be Govin and I. We got a 10. We beat 10 out of the 12 pairs that played the game, or beat 10 of the 11 other pairs that played the game. Now, it looks like there were 1, 2, 3 pairs who allowed the opponents to make -1, who went -130. -130 means that the opponents made 4 of a minor. Okay? They all tied for bottom, and when you tie, you get a half a point for every one you tie with. So if there were 3 pairs that were -130, each one of them tied 2 other people, so they got 1 match point. Okay? Now, in general, your score is going to be a top, a bottom, or somewhere in the middle, because those are the only 3 options. Okay? On an average score, if top's at 11, we get a 5.5. Does this make some sense? A little bit of sense. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense.
Where's the 5.5?
Where's it?
All right. Yeah, we need a projector. All right. So let's do that one more time. Hand number 1 was played 12 times. Pair 14 got plus 300. So they beat everyone. They got an 11 out of an 11, because 11 is the top score you can get on a board. Okay, pair number 11 got plus 150, so they beat 10 other pairs. And then it goes all the way down to, well, it looks like there were 3 couple people who got plus 100. They got 8.5. So they beat 8 pairs and tied 1, so on and so forth. So on every board, it's going to be match pointed. How many pairs did every pair beat? Yes, sir.
So it's the dash being a half?
Dash is a half. Okay? Making a little bit more sense. Okay, and what the computer will do is on every board, it'll match point every score. And then it will add them up. Okay, so the top pair in this room, it looks like up at the top was Carolitas and Tony Morton. They see how they're number 1 in A flight. They're an A flight pair, so they weren't eligible to win B flight, but they were the top pair in the room. They got a 65% game, which is a pretty darn big game. Okay, second place were Ann Ray Gershman and Nadine Griffin. Okay, and then third place, Govin and I came in third. How cool is that? Now we also came in second in B. Okay, we came in third overall, third in A, and second in B. If you look at pair number 5, Margaret Anderson and Sarah Browning, they came in 6th in A, 3rd in B, and 1st in C. Now, you're going to be awarded master points based on the highest number of master points you can get for what you did. Okay, so if you look at our score, we got 0.7 in A flight. That means that for coming in third in A flight, our award was 0.7 master points. It would have been less than that for coming in second in B. If you look at pair number 5, okay, Sarah and Margaret came in 6th overall, third in B and first in C. Now, they got .48 master points, and it says C flight. So it has a C next to their name. What that means is they came in, for coming in first in C, they got .48 master points. Their award would have been less for coming in sixth in A or third in B. Now, I have one hand for you I want to talk about.
Before you get off that question, can I ask one thing about it?
Yes.
The percent is actually based on score, though, right?
The percent is the average on the average is 132. Okay,
Right.
sorry, on fourth line down.
Yeah.
We played 24 boards.
Right.
I know we played 24 boards. And the top on a board was an 11. So the top score, if we beat everyone on every hand, we'd have gotten a 264 out of 264. We would have had a 100% game. Okay, never happens. The top score in the month is usually right around 70%. But the percentage is what your total match points, your percentage of a perfect game, 264.
Okay, so it is match points. It's not.
Yeah,
okay.
it's match points. All right, one hand for you that I'm particularly proud of. Anybody have a pair that you don't like losing to? Hand number 7. Okay, if you look at the second page. I was playing with a fellow named Govin who bids on occasion aggressively. South opened 1 spade, and Govin decided that he would bid with his hand. He decided to bid 3 diamonds with his hand. Just Govin being Govin.
What hand was that?
Hand number 7. It's a weak bid with a bunch of diamonds. Nora supported spades, and I bid 6 diamonds. Because certainly if Govin has a 3 diamond bid, we should be pretty darn close to making 6 diamonds. And as it turned out, 6 diamonds makes, but that wasn't the fun part. The fun part is on occasion when somebody bids like that, then the opponents think that you're trying to steal from them. So the person that I enjoy beating bid 6 spades, which I decided was a doubleable contract since I had 2 aces and a side king and my partner had made a bid. And it turns out that it was not met with rousing success. Looks like we set 3.
Wow.
Who are you playing against?
Yeah.
Who was it?
So using this
Jack
data, we
and
can
Bill.
find that out.
Oh, I know who it was.
Right, I know who it was too, but
Yeah.
but you can use, if you just use what Ed said, you can find it out. That's the quiz question.
Jack and Bill.
Well, no, because it was on the north-south
7.
side that you don't have.
Okay.
I didn't give you the
right,
north-south
right,
side.
right. You're right. We can't see
All right.
it. Right.
It is 6:30. Any questions about keeping score? Yes, ma'am.
In a friendly bridge, do you add the 2 people score together to get where they're stratosphered, or is it the largest?
No, usually it's whoever has the most. We can do it either way. We just tend to do it on whoever has the most.